Because Halloween is just around the corner.
Right.
And guess what? Your little ones could have some fears about the ghosts and the goblins and Tina's spiderwebs, but there are ways to help the nerves.
Yes, okay. You got more? You're going to talk to somebody about
Yes,
that?
we're talking to a therapist and author. Her name is Habiba Zaman. Good morning, Habiba.
Good morning. Hi there.
Good morning. So you do you work with a lot of families as a family therapist as well, but you're an author. But you're here to tell us how to help the little ones deal with some of the spookiness of the season, because not all the kids like Halloween as much as I do, right?
Now, let me tell you, when my daughter was young and she had a nightmare, it was a tough one. You know what I mean? When they have their nightmares and they're so scared, it's hard to get them out of that mode.
So how do we do it?
Well, the first thing I think we need to pay attention to is our need to soothe the babies. You know, we're protective of them and we want to make the feelings go away. And so sometimes we can tell them things like it's not a big deal, or it's not real, or it's fake, or it'll be okay. And our children really just need to understand that we realize and empathize with their feelings. Fear is very real. Fear is a normal emotion, and I think it's important to empathize with our babies and tell them it makes sense that they feel scared right now.
Right. Now you have a few of five tips to really help parents sort of, I guess, navigate through this time, and not just during Halloween, but anytime they may come up with these type of fears. You say the first one is treat the scary costume or spooky object as if they were treating a real bully. Explain that a little bit.
Yes. So with my children, when they were younger, the one thing that I did with them is I would walk up to the item. Whether it was a big scary spider or, just something popping out of nowhere. And I would walk with them and I'd say, it's okay, I'm here with you, let's go. And we would walk hand in hand and we'd go out there and be like, no, you don't get to do this. No, you're not going to scare me. You're not going to scare me today. And they would laugh, and then I'd say, okay, now you do it too. And in this way, we're sharing with them. We're telling them that it's okay to have a voice. It's okay to tell them we're frightened. It's okay to set boundaries for ourselves, and they see our strength and they try to mirror that strength with us.
So it's kind of that comfort that you give them that makes them feel safe. Now you also say to ask them what elements scare them, because they might like maybe a clown, but they don't like the clown's laugh. Is it something like that?
Right. Especially with older children, if you're able to say, what is it about this thing that's frightening, you'll be able to understand the way they see the world a little bit more. And in doing so, we can then use that fear and use that association that they have with the fear and try to help them find ways to cope with the exact thing, whether it's fear of death, fear of unknown, fear of being spooked, the voice, right? Just the random sound of the creepy clown's voice, that can be scary in itself. And helping them identify what it is that they're frightened of. It might not be the actual thing, but it might be what it's associated with.
And it's interesting, I know a few of the other tips that we'll have online is don't force exposure, but also don't tell them not to be afraid.
Right.
Right. Well, in telling them to be afraid, we're minimizing their emotional reaction to something. And in doing so, we might make them feel like, they can't come to us. They can't share that fear with us. They can't share their thoughts with us. And then it could instill this sense of shame in them where, they feel like they've let us down by not being able to be strong, by not being able to just get rid of the feeling and not being able to be there and enjoy it with us.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Makes sense. Yes.
All right. Habiba, thank you so much. We'll get her website on as well, and you've got a brand new book, and we'll have you on to talk more about that later. But again, Halloween is just a week away, and it might get even spookier for
everyone
the kids.
handles it differently.
Yes.
And especially the kids too. They're just coming out with this emotion that they don't even recognize. Like, what? All right, thank you so much.
Very helpful. So Habiba Zaman, thank you very much. Zaman, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.